Hi, I'm Susan French, clinical hypnotherapist. Welcome to Everything Hypnosis, filled with hypnosis facts and recordings. Enjoy and subscribe. And now, begin to listen to the sound of my voice. And also begin to make yourself very, very comfortable. Can you lean back comfortably? And wherever it is that you're sitting or resting right now, and begin to listen to my soothing and entrancing voice. You can begin by staring right in the middle of the spiral and continue to stare at that spot. And I wonder when you'll notice your eyelids starting to feel a little bit heavy and sleepy. Maybe you'll notice them starting to blink. And as you begin to notice them starting to blink, on one of those blinks, you'll notice that they just feel like staying closed. And you can let them. Why not? Let yourself begin to relax wonderfully and comfortably. And allow yourself to begin to drift down into that wonderful, comfortable state of hypnotic relaxation or hypnotic trance, whichever you prefer to call it. Letting go. You can, can't you? Of course you can. And so as you let your eyelids close comfortably and easily, I wonder if you don't notice that the rest of your body just wants to relax as well. Maybe you notice that your shoulders release and get soft and loose. Maybe they sort of hang down comfortably, sinking comfortably into wherever it is that you're resting. And you can begin by breathing in that special way that I've taught you, where you breathe into the very lowest part of your lungs. It will feel as if you're breathing right into your stomach. You can even push your stomach out just a little bit, so it reminds you where it is you're going to breathe from. And you'll feel it expand if you're doing it properly. And then you breathe out. And as you breathe out, have the idea that you're breathing away all tension, all worries of the day, all distractions. And that your focus of attention comes more to the sound of my voice and more to the natural breathing cycle that your body finds easily. But of course, a breathing cycle consists of two parts, doesn't it? There's an in-breath, and then there's an out-breath. Isn't there? And the most important part of that breathing cycle is the out-breath. And do you know why? Because you have to breathe out all of the used up air that's still in your lungs to make room for the new, fresh oxygen that you need to relax your body and nourish your body. And when you do that, your brain releases just a little bit of one of the calming down chemicals like endorphins. You can almost feel it happening. You might notice a tendency. Just feel like you want to let go. And you can, you know. Can you take a moment to just notice how much more relaxed you are right now than when you first began? Because hypnosis is really nothing more than the state of being lost in thought. Just as you do when you drive and space out, and suddenly you're at your destination, not remembering how you got there. Go ahead and let go. Can you? Soft and loose and floaty and dreamy. You weren't asleep. You weren't unconscious. If someone hit their brakes or changed lanes, you didn't need to wake up. Your focus of attention just came back from being in your thoughts to being on traffic instantly. And that's exactly what hypnosis is and feels like. And as you listen more and more to my words, I wonder just when you'll notice a natural tendency for your mind and your body to relax even more. And you can, you know. You can relax and let go completely right now if you want. Or you can decide to do it in a few moments when you're more ready. To just let go of all the distractions of the day. Anything from before this session and any thoughts about after you leave. Let those thoughts melt away from your consciousness and your focus. And notice that the more you focus on the sound of my voice, the deeper you go. The more you focus on the cycles of breathing. Breathing in relaxation. And then breathing out all stress, all worries, all aggravation, all thoughts but this moment, right now. As you drift deeper and deeper into this wonderful, comfortable state that we call hypnosis, and all of the rest of life fades out of your awareness. And it just feels so very, very good. So I wonder if you can notice the tendency to a feeling of heaviness and sleepiness that comes into your eyelids, your face, your arms and legs. Now, there's nothing that you need to do or not do to help this process. The more passive you can be, the better. There is no right way or wrong way. Every way is perfectly perfect. For you to go even more deeply down into this hypnotic state, where you can begin to hear the suggestions that will help you get ready to put that old habit of smoking behind you. as if you'd outgrown it, like a pair of pants or a pair of shoes when you were 10 years old. We outgrow things all the time. There was a time that all we wanted to do was talk to our friends. And then that got kind of boring. Maybe there was a time that all we wanted to do was work. And then we outgrew that. And you can think about the many, many things that you've done in your life that seemed so important at the time that you couldn't imagine life without them. Could be a mate, could be a friend, could be an activity, could be a belonging. And as the days and years passed, you just forgot about them. They became no longer important to you. You outgrew them. And that's what you're doing with that old habit of smoking cigarettes that you've decided is something that you no longer want to be addicted to be in bondage to. And whatever your reasons, that you know, that your subconscious knows, are all of the reasons that you need to become a non-smoker just as quickly as you can. To leave that old habit behind you, to forget all about it, to have it be no longer part of your life or your thoughts or your activities, where you don't look around and see an ashtray or see the hole in your furniture or your favorite shirt or clothing, where that cigarette spark fell and burned a hole. All of those old reminders of that old habit, just gone. You don't miss that. In fact, you're so happy to have them gone, and then you forget that they were ever part of your life. And that will be wonderful, won't it? And that could happen by the end of this recording. Or it may take a few more hours or a few more days or even a few more weeks. It doesn't really matter, because once you've decided that you are going to become free from the bondage of smoking cigarettes, your subconscious mind is already finding the ways to make that possible. And that part of your mind is becoming stronger and stronger as the part of your mind that wants to hang on kind of gets outshouted by the rest of your subconscious mind. And before you know it, that part of your mind that wants to hang on to that old habit begins to realize that it would really rather join the rest of the crowd and put that old habit behind it. And believe it or not, while you're asleep, while you're working, while you're driving, while you're cooking, while you're doing all the things that you do in life, your busy little subconscious mind is solving that problem for you. All you need to do is remember, whenever you can, the reasons why it's important for you to leave that habit behind, to become the non-smoker that you wish to be. And whenever your mind starts to linger longingly over that old habit, oh, I just want one little drag on a cigarette, It won't hurt me. And when you think those thoughts, chase them away. You know how to chase them away. Think about the times when you cannot smoke, or you do not smoke. When you're in an airplane, when you're in a car with other people who don't smoke, when you go into a restaurant. Smoking is not allowed. You can't smoke in a hospital. You can't smoke in a medical office. You can't smoke in most retail stores anymore. You can't smoke even in the market, as far as I know. And if you're like many people, you've stopped smoking indoors. Maybe you have a little spot where you go to smoke. But you know, you begin to realize it's just not that important. But what really is important is becoming free, is keeping your promise to yourself and to your family. What really is important is putting that old habit behind you, and you'll find that it's much easier than you thought. And you're doing so very, very well. Can you bring your attention back to your eyelids now? And can you visualize or imagine that those eyelids are becoming heavier and heavier and sleepier and sleepier and more tightly closed? And if they haven't closed yet, you could just decide to close them. And what you could do is close those eyelids and imagine that you're staring right through your eyelids, staring right in the middle of that hypnotic spiral. And just let it draw you into this wonderful state of being so very relaxed that it's almost as if you're drifting in and out of sleep. And as those eyelids get heavier and heavier and so much more tightly closed, you might begin to realize that they begin to feel as if they're glued shut. So tightly shut that it begins to seem as if you just couldn't open them no matter how hard you tried. And now see if you can make them 10 times more tightly shut, as if they're glued shut. Kind of the way they are if you awaken in the middle of the night and for just a moment can't get those eyelids open. And if you can remember what that feels like, think about that now. And while you're thinking about how it feels to have your eyelids so heavy and sleepy that you just cannot open them, you'll find that you can't open them. You can go ahead and try. Why don't you go ahead and try? But you'll find that you cannot. Your eyebrows might go up, eyelids will stay tightly closed. And even if they open just a little bit, they'll flutter back closed. And why wouldn't they? It feels so much better to just relax and let go. And let them stay closed. And then you take that relaxation that you've created in your eyelids and let it flow up to the top of your head. And then when you feel that little spot of relaxation on the very top of your head, almost as if someone massaged this wonderful place on the top of your head, and it all of those muscles just let loose and soft and relaxed. That's right. How good that feels. And then that wonderful feeling of relaxation as each and every one of those muscles becomes loose and long and relaxed. And then because our muscles are like a web that hold our bodies together, when each and every muscle in your body, when any muscle relaxes and lets go, then all of the muscles attached to that muscle has to relax as well. And then that relaxation passes from muscle to muscle. Before you know it, your whole body is so relaxed that you may feel heavy and sleepy, as if you just can't move. Or you might feel light and floating, as if you were floating on a cloud. And however you experience this is perfectly perfect, you know. Can you enjoy it? Surrender to it? Embrace it? Wrap yourself around it, or it around you like a cocoon of wonderful comfortableness. And then the top of your head, that wonderful relaxation flows down the back of your head. And you can take a nice, easy, calming, relaxing breath from deep in your belly. Breathing in wonderful relaxation. And as you breathe out, notice how all the muscles on the side of your head want to let go. And when you breathe out, how you just want to let all your muscles go looser and softer and longer and lighter or heavier or sleepier or more and more relaxed. And then it goes down the side of your head. Your temples relax, the joint that holds your jaw to your skull. Let it go loose. Loosen it. Let it go so loose that your jaw might even fall open just a little bit. Your teeth might part, your lips might part. If I were to wiggle your chin, it would be so loose that it would just wiggle. Make sure it's that loose. How good it feels to let go. Does it not? Of course it does. And now down over your forehead, as your forehead becomes as smooth as the forehead of a baby as it falls to sleep. And that little space between your eyebrows, let it spread and become smooth as that little space between the eyebrows of a baby as it falls to sleep. And the wonderful relaxation, like wonderful massaging, calming, nurturing energy, soothing and relaxing, flowing down over all of the muscles of your eyelids. That's right. So soft, so loose, so sleepy. And then flowing into your cheeks, across the bridge of your nose. That's right. And down around your lips. You may find that your lips part just a little. At least they're so very, very loose. And your teeth might part just a little. Or at least they're not gripping at all. They're so loose. And you can let that wonderful relaxation flow into your mouth. every muscle inside your mouth relaxes and lets go. Your tongue might lie loose in the bottom of your mouth, or it may be so relaxed that it just floats. And then that wonderful feeling of relaxation now flowing down your chin and down into your throat. And you might have the urge to swallow. And if you do, just let yourself swallow. Just lets you know that you're drifting down into this wonderful state that we call hypnosis. Because the deeper you go, the better you feel. And the better you feel, the deeper you go, and your conscious, awake, aware mind kind of just goes off to sleep in the background of your mind, leaving your subconscious, unconscious, mind and brain open and accessible to receive these wonderful suggestions that will just enable you to be free of that bondage, of that old habit. Think about that for just a moment. See yourself go through those usual activities where you used to involve that old habit, but instead you sip on a sip of water, or you suck on a Ricola, or even if you chew some nicotine replacement gum in the beginning, that's fine. Or a lozenge or a patch, that's fine, whatever it takes to disconnect from that old, very bad friend, your old friend Siggy, just like an old friend that you had sometime in your life. And somehow you kept letting this friend come back into your life. And every time that friend came back into your life, there was trouble. You got into trouble. Money was borrowed and never returned. Things were destroyed and never replaced. Betrayals occurred. And you realized it was all one-sided. It was take, 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 and never give back. And one day you realized it and said enough. And freed yourself from the bondage of that old friend. Disconnected. And that's what you're doing to this old friend, Siggy. This old habit that you thought was your friend and was always there with you. But really, what did it bring you? It took your breath. It took your health. It destroyed your belongings and your clothing. It made people worry about you and be mad at you. People give you dirty looks out in the world. And you look in the mirror and you know that you've been a failure because you haven't kept that promise to yourself to release that relationship for once and for all. But you're ready to do that now. And it will be easy once you've just made up your mind that you are ready, that you're going to do whatever it takes. You have decided. And once you've decided, most of the resistance and difficulty begins to melt away. Watch, you'll see. Because right now, I'll bet, there's no part of you that really wants a cigarette. Because you're too relaxed. You've gotten your little bit of endorphins, and they've relaxed you. Mother Nature's tranquilizer, fresh oxygen, and you just don't care. It's not on your mind. If it comes to your mind, you chase it away. because it really feels so good to be so very relaxed, doesn't it? So as you listen, you may find that you hear a word here, miss a word there. And you hear a word here, and you forget 2 words there or 3. And your mind wanders off to other things, which you will begin to do each and every time you have a niggling thought of that old bad habit. You'll remember how easy it is to just change your mind, to think about something else, to think about all the reasons why you are committed and motivated to being a non-smoker. It's almost as good as done. That's right. And as you listen, you might think that you remember each and every one, but then you just forget it consciously. But you know, your subconscious remembers every important and relevant suggestion to help you be free from this bondage, to achieve this very important goal of becoming a comfortable, happy non-smoker, easily, comfortably, proudly. That's right. As your sense of time just begins to wander, and your thoughts may go to those times when you've been without a cigarette, on an airplane, at dinner, and you've been perfectly fine. And you can take that feeling in that time and bring it into those times that you used to still be connected to that old habit that you're putting behind you, like that bad old friend. And we've talked about your commitment to this wonderful new way of being in this world, in your life, having let that old, unwanted habit behind. Take a moment to notice that when I suggest, with my words, that you will become more comfortable, your body becomes more comfortable. When I suggest that you relax, those muscles just want to let go, don't they? And when I suggest that you feel confident and motivated and so glad you're doing this, it reminds you of those very true things that you yourself feel. And you begin to feel those things. And the strength of those feelings becomes stronger. You feel more confident, more motivated, more glad that you're disconnecting from this old habit, freeing yourself from that bondage. Because that is how your mind works. You know, you have a thought, and it translates into your body's response and then action. So while you think about my words, why don't you let your mind send a message throughout your body to let go even more. All muscles so loose and soft and long and relaxed, so drifty and drowsy. That's right. And if pictures and thoughts float through your mind, that's wonderful. That just lets you know that your subconscious mind is working on your behalf to help you achieve this important goal today. You might even notice a wonderful feeling deep in your toes and your tummy and your heart that this is going to be easy and comfortable. Piece of cake. And with that thought, can you let go and go even deeper down? And let me suggest to you now that each and every time you hear my voice, say the words deep, deeper, or deeply down, that will be a suggestion for you to let your muscles go looser, heavier, sleepier, and for you to drift down deeper, more and more comfortable, drifty and dreamy and floaty, maybe heavy, maybe light, maybe floating. In any way you experience this trance state is perfectly perfect. Even if you were to wonder if you are in hypnosis at all, let me assure you, you are in hypnosis. As I said, you may easily forget to remember the words that I've just said to you. Just like when you have a word on the tip of your tongue and the harder you try to remember what it was, the more forgotten it becomes. But your subconscious mind remembers. Or like when you walk into a room and for the life of you, you cannot remember what it is you went there to get. And the harder you try to remember, the more forgotten it becomes. As soon as you close your eyes and begin to imagine or remember anything, you go into hypnosis. Hypnosis is the same as being lost in thought, spacing out, no right way or wrong way, and you're doing so well. I wonder if you will remember me saying that each and every time you think of your life as a non-smoker, you have created a new line of energy, a new neural pathway in your brain for being a non-smoker. You're rehearsing in your imagination being a non-smoker. And we know scientifically that that has more value than saying it or doing it 10 or 20 times, because that's how your brain works. Each and every time you think about a situation in which you used to be a smoker, but you see yourself going through that, drinking your coffee, chatting on the phone, taking a break. But just like one of those puzzles when you say, what's missing? Count the things that are different. You'll see yourself in those situations and you'll think, what's different? No cigarette. And you see the smile on your face and how comfortable you are. And you realize that you don't really miss it at all. And the more you rehearse that in your mind, the more your brain will make sure that it happens in your body. And those thoughts will be gone. Each and every time you hear the words that I say about this habit that you're putting behind you, those words will reinforce this neural pathway in your brain. To be the non-smoker that you choose to be, it really is that simple and that easy. Think about the time when you learned to drive. At first, it must have seemed like you'd never get it done smoothly and without thought, and there were so many things to think about. But very quickly you notice that each time you turned the wheel or hit the accelerator or the brakes, that new habit was reinforced. You didn't even think about it. Same thing when you learned to ride a bike or to skate or to dance or to read or spell or write or walk or run. This is how our brain learns. In the days to come, each time you make that choice, consciously or unconsciously, to do one of the alternative actions rather than that old habit, you reinforce that neural pathway that makes being a non-smoker automatic and easy, where you won't even miss it, you won't even think about it. Think about those old habits. Maybe you had a special little teddy bear that you couldn't sleep without, or a cowboy suit or a princess dress, and you couldn't even think about going to bed without it, or that old blanket, or those old PJs. And then you outgrew them. They fell behind the dresser or behind the drawer. And they were no longer important. You forgot all about them because your mind went to other things that were interesting to you. The same thing's going to happen so long as you do one of the other activities that you have selected, whether it's to close your eyes and breathe, whether it's to bring your fingers together in the Om sign or the OK sign, and you let yourself drop down into hypnosis, and you get that little burst of endorphins, and that washes away all thoughts of that old habit. And you're calm. You don't even have to think about that old habit because you find that you're automatically drawn to taking a nice deep breath. That deep relaxing breath in the way that I showed you. In the way you used to inhale that smoke, but now you do the same thing, only by breathing in that wonderful, energizing, and relaxing oxygen. Mother Nature's painkiller. Mother Nature's tranquilizer. Or you may find that there's a little stress or a need for a moment to yourself. And you pick up that glass of refreshing, detoxifying water and sip it slowly. And the fact that that hand-to-mouth movement will be just the same as your old habit, you won't even notice the difference because you'll be paying attention to how good it feels to be sipping on that water. And your mind will go to something else. Picking up a glass of water or something to drink will relax you, just the way that old habit did, because it was just the habit that relaxed you, just the thought of the habit. And now you're making other habits. So if there are any thoughts about that old habit, they'll just fade from your mind. Easily forgotten as your mind goes to many other important and wonderful things in your life. And you just forget that you used to have this old habit. That is just no longer doing anything positive for you at all, and a lot that's not positive, that's negative. But you haven't had to give anything up. What you've done instead is bring yourself back to healthy breathing and more energy, more zest for life, the ability to taste things, the happiness and excitement you feel about being a non-smoker, and all of the things that you can do now that you couldn't do before because you were worried about that old habit or what people would think. And as your mind goes to all of those other things, your brain will just forget to remember that old habit. Or maybe, you might remember to forget. Forgetting is so easy, you do it all the time. And so in the days to come, that your mind goes to other things, you just forget that there was this other old habit in your way. So glad that it's gone and forgotten. You might decide to take 5 minutes to yourself, or go to the bathroom, or take a quick walk, even to the kitchen or the water cooler to get water. Or you may play the game of delay. How long can I put this off until I just forget again? And you'll find that you just forget before you remember, and you realize that in your mind easily goes to those other things. Let your subconscious mind hear my words now, and let them become deeply embedded in the place where they replace other unwanted thoughts and actions. We outgrow things, needs, wants, desires, things we think we need or will die, and then poof. No more Dora the Explorer or SpongeBob. No more favorite clothes or PJs. Or those favorite toys we dragged around as kids until they were worn out and tattered. That's right, as you move on to grown-up things, and you just forgot them, didn't you? And that's happening now as we speak, as you listen to my words. Those thoughts of that old habit just haven't been there because you feel too calm. And the words that made these changes so easily, magically, and comfortably. Maybe you had to have PB&J with no crusts every day until one day, poof, you moved on, right? Just like those old toys or old clothes that you outgrew. You've decided that you've outgrown this old habit that you picked up by accident, that you wish you hadn't, before you knew what it was going to cost you in money and health, and how hard it was going to be to quit, at least on your own. You will never find anyone who says, "Oh, I'm so glad that I smoke," because no one is. So for whatever reason you smoked then, you're ready to leave it behind. The day has come. You have made your decision to put this old, tattered, worthless, costly habit in your past. Congratulations. Believe it or not, you're at least 75% of the way there. And that's why, should you have any stray thoughts or temptations that creep up on you, you'll find it easy to put them aside. Change the channel. Let's create that better channel right now. Imagine a place, a time, a situation where you would always feel at peace and confident and strong and empowered, where absolutely nothing could disturb you or bother you, where anything you had made a decision to accomplish would come easily. See this place now. Maybe it's a place you've been before when you finally decided enough was enough. Step into it. Notice how you feel. Describe the feeling. Soak up that feeling, and when you can see it, just nod to yourself. When you step into that and feel all those feelings, hold them tight to you and bring them back with you. Take a sensory snapshot of that feeling in that place. Put your thumb and your fingers together in the sign of the Om sign, the calming meditation formation, or the everything's A-OK sign. Squeeze those fingers together while you picture yourself in this place of yours where all things are possible. Your place of total empowerment. Knowing that any time you need to feel calm, determined to chase away those old thoughts, those old smoking thoughts, away into the clouds, off the cliff, into the past, you squeeze those fingers together and you'll be there if you want to be. And you will feel exactly as you feel right now. Nothing can deter you from your goal, your decision, your commitment. Isn't that right? Make sure that's embedded and available to you. And every time you listen to this recording, it will reinforce it, make it stronger, make it easier. I'm going to give you a minute to create and embed that feeling, that strength, that empowerment. to embed it for future use as you need it. As this old shoe of a habit is long buried in your past memories, with all those other outgrown habits, lately you've come to realize that not only has that time passed, but it didn't give you anything at all. You mistakenly thought it did. Like that bad friend you came to realize was never operating in your best interest, as it convinced you to do things that weren't good for you by lying to you, by manipulating, by convincing you of half-truths. Like that cigarettes relax you. They de-stressed you. They give you energy. They give you permission to take a break, that they're your pal. You have already had those habits built in. It's long been thought that the relaxation of your habit really came from the relaxation breath that you took with it. Like the one that I taught you. The one that triggers your brain to release endorphins. Triggers your nervous system to calm down. And to need nothing. Totally at peace. Or was it that breath that gave you energy? Waking up all of your cells with nourishing oxygen and giving you plenty of energy in your lung capacity to work out, to walk, to play sports. In fact, you're really addicted to the oxygen and to the release of those endorphins generated by a deep breath. But the good news is that you can keep all that and just put the poison sticks behind you, out of the equation. And we also know that any thought or urge will pass in 15 to 30 seconds. Anyone can wait a few seconds to do anything, even have that nasty cigarette, as long as you don't let your mind go lingering longingly back. Change the channel. See your comfortable place. See yourself in 10 years, all the wrinkles gone, lots of breath, roses in your cheeks. Certainly you've spent more time than that without your old show, your old tattered shirt, theater, dinner, car, plan, meetings, kids in class. You spent more time than that without a cigarette. Easily. So waiting a few seconds and changing the channel to your better thoughts, your better choice, and your better place. Your place of empowerment and determination and comfortableness. All the options you have, and there are many. And your mind will easily go to other things. And you'll feel that wonderful glow and flush of success. Anytime you need to chase away a thought or desire, breathe, drink water, delay, distract, dehypnotize, squash that urge, dial down the desire, blow it into oblivion, and your mind will go to other things. You'll simply forget to remember, or remember to forget. And don't be surprised if you find in the days to come just how easy it will be. And so with all of these thoughts, I'm going to bring you back to waking consciousness. Bring yourself back in that place of empowerment, that place of determination and calmness and peace, where you have absolutely no need for anything, especially that old poison stick. Bring it back with you as I count you back from 0 to 5. 0 and 1. And 2, coming back completely free, happy, excited, ready. You'll do it. A non-smoker. Even if you have a slip or a relapse, You are a non-smoker now. You've done all the heavy lifting. Now it should be a piece of cake. And 4 and 5, and your eyes can open, and you can become wide, wide, wide awake. This is Susan French, clinical hypnotherapist and success coach. Please remember to hit like or the thumbs up. Let me know what you liked about this or what you would like to hear next. Until next time.